team was 3 years ago to where you are today, maybe even 4 years ago to where you are today, as a fan, as an enthusiast, someone goes to the races and watches your team, we can see the growth year after year after year after year, and it's been exponential every year. And it's always been said you would get here. Maybe some people are surprised, maybe some people aren't. Can you explain that process, how the team got from where you were 4 years ago to where you are today with Cadel Evans and George Hincapie and Lelangue?
Yeah, I think that you have to seriously think about the last 2 years when we got the pro-continental status and the wildcard status, which was the first step into international pro racing. 2008 and 2009 were the 2 years of discovery, trying to test the best American riders, the best Swiss riders, to see a little bit who had the level to follow the adventure. But it's clear that when you have a vision, and that's the case with Andy Rees, with Jimokovic, when you have a vision, you know where you wanted to go. And of course, in cycling, you wanted to go to the most important races, the historical races. So on the one-day classics, it's Milan-San Remo, Flanders, Roubaix, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Amstel. Those are the races where, there is a long history. There is a long attraction for the cyclists to be there, and on the big tours, we know that the most important one is the Tour de France. Then after you have the Giro, you have the one-week stage races like Romandie, Swiss, Dauphiné, California. Those are a little bit the same, but when you have a vision, I think it's more easy to work in this kind of philosophy, because you know that, okay, you need to progress every year, and you know where you want to go, you know with who you want to go, and then when you can fix this, you know exactly that you need of that kind of riders. Is it Balin? Is it Hincapie? Is it Burkhardt? Is it Kroll? Is it Cadel? And then once you have those riders, you need teammates, good teammates that you are formed by yourself in the last 2 years, young guys who have the potential to go there, or then to find the good teammates around the world. But I'm not too surprised about where we are, and I think that of course I think that Andy Rees and Jimokovic have a clear vision for what is the team and what is the future of the team.
Now that you have Cadel Evans, you have George Hincapie, you have Balin, how does that change team tactics? Because now you have guys that are true Grand Tour contenders that can win. How does that change the planning and change the structure of the team, or does it not?
We don't have the pressure of the race. I think that we try to have always pleasure and fun in the race. That's the most important for the whole group. We did like this in the last couple of years, and we will follow like this. But the most important when you have big leaders like this, I think it's to be clear in the tactic, to be clear in the vision that we have, to be clear in the objective that we have. We know exactly what are our objectives, that's important, and then to be confident in the team and to do what is needed from now on, but also from October, to be sure that we have fixed all the details: preparation, training, selection of the riders, travel, selection of the races, the good calendar. But on the team tactics, of course, it will change a little bit. On the strategy also. But I'm pretty confident that we have a strong group of experienced riders, a strong group of young riders, and that this team is a good mix. Is it for the classic side, or is it for the stage races side?
What is, from your perspective, what are the marquee races that we can expect Team BMC to target? Or is it every race you go into, you're looking for the
I think that by respect for the public, you try to be competitive in every race. If you are going for an organizer, even if it is a small race, it's a race. So you need, by respect for the sponsor, by respect for the public, by respect for the media, and by respect by the organizer, you need to show up there with a strategy. But maybe not with the big leaders, but maybe that the young talented guys will have their chance there. Why not? But we are more looking to all the races from the world calendar. That's the main objective. So it means all the Pro Tour races where we'll be candidate, and all the world classification races, the historical races. That will be the main aspect. And if I have to pick some of them, it's of course on the stage races, the big stage races, Giro and Tour. That's sure. On the other stage races is California, which is really important. It's not a Pro Tour race this year, it will become next year, but we already consider it as a Pro Tour races on the same field. And then on the one-day racing, we will be focusing more on the historical races like Milan-San Remo, Paris-Roubaix, Tour of Flanders, Ghent-Wevelgem, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Amstel, Flèche. Those are the one-day races where we wanted to be competitive.
This 2009 there was a debate over race radios. It seemed like the arguments for and against were wide and varied, and everyone had a different opinion. Do you have an opinion on race radios, and do you think that they should stay? Do you think there's a reason for them to go?
I think there is advantage and disadvantage on all the products, but yeah, I have never worked without radio, so it's difficult for me to say what was happening before. But of course, I use the radio in the team car, not so much, mostly for giving information to my rider to speak with them. Not to change or not to jump on all the attacks, surely not, and it's not a stressful radio. You can ask the riders who are with me in Australia, and it's more something that I use for information, just to remain them informed about what's happening, what is the wind situation, when is the next curve, when is the next time, and so on, who is in the break, who are the teams who are not in the break and that we can expect will be chasing in a few moments. So it's really an important mean of communication for me, between me and the team car and the radio. And also, you know, the roads like now, on those big races where there is a lot of public, a lot of cars, a lot of TV, a lot of roundabouts and some special management of the roads, it's more and more difficult to go with a team car in the group and to speak to your riders. But the radio doesn't change a lot in the strategy that we fix in the briefing. Once the briefing is clear, is it in the morning or the day before, once I have seen all the riders one by one before making my briefing and before making my opinion about the strategy, I think that once we have done our briefing, all the riders, is it the experienced one or the young one, they know exactly what is our objective for the next race or for the next stage. So they know what they have to do. After this, the radio is just a kind of information for me.
You know, I've sat in team cars before. I've experienced what it's like to be in the team car, and you're right, some of them are very high pressure and they're yelling and screaming, and some are much more calm. Can you use that race radio as a way to motivate your riders and get them to push through those bad points, or do you stay off of it?
Not on the bad pressure. Only on the pressure, you know, when you are on the last climb at 2 kilometers of the finish and you know that we have just a time gap of 10 or 15 seconds and somebody is coming back from behind, why not? But it doesn't to be a bad pressure during the whole day. And it doesn't to be, you know, jumping or asking to jump in every breakaway that you see from your team car, or it doesn't to be to all rise right at the front and so on. No, it's never a bad pressure, it's more a real mean of information for me. And I try just to use it as a good radio communication mean between me and the rider during the race. If they need something, when they have a puncture, when they have a technical, when they need something from the team car, it's just a normal system of information. And I consider myself like the head coach on a football field. He's there with the guys. He's speaking to the guys. He gives some advice, but normally his strategy, he will not change all his strategy during the game. Normally I think that he has planned during the week before, he knows totally his opponents, the quarterback know what he had to do, all the people on the field, they know exactly, but he's there just to adjust a little bit the details. But normally the strategy for a coach is done before the race. After, it just